Oh, okay, Olivia.
What's up?
These earrings looking really nice. Let me see these earrings.
Oh,
Oh yeah, those are very cute. Very
Yeah,
bright.
they really.
Yeah, I like them. Yeah.
I have a problem with them though because I don't have them, so that's my
I was
problem.
gonna say that I was gonna be nice though. I was trying to be nice today. I was like, I'm not gonna be petty every single time about everything. But since Amber's on it, I'm with Amber. They all right because I ain't got none.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, I love today's conversation because one, a lot happens in a week. I just want
Oh,
y'all to step back for a second and just take up this, okay? One, Courage dropped a bomb, not a ball. She dropped a bomb on me. She's like, I'm out. Never going to see you again at the studio. And I was like, no.
oh yeah.
Then then it was like Monday we were together at the studio, Tuesday we were together at the studio, then we were like leaving Tuesday, regular day, leaving on Tuesday. We're in the parking lot. We're like, all right, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Great, see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? Love
Yeah.
you. Drive safe.
Yeah.
Okay, we saw each other pull out. Then everything changed.
And
Oh
now
my
we're here.
gosh, yeah.
And now we're here, right?
welcome to our podcast. Hey guys, my name is Olivia Hayward.
What's up? It's your girl, Courage Molina.
Oh, it's Amber Likens, and this is my CEO Squad. Before you leave our channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you never miss an upload. In the comments, let us know where you're tuning in from, and we cannot wait to get to know you more. Let's go ahead and start this conversation.
So last week, Tuesday, the plan was that actually that Wednesday would probably be my last day in the studio because I need to get my nails done on Thursday, and then neither one of us work on Friday. So it's like maybe we're gonna see each other. But you had something on Friday. Yeah, you were like, I'm gonna be with Alan. Oh, so annoying. So she's giving Alan my day. So don't y'all live together? Friday's my day. But she's got some, she had something to do. So I was like, oh, this is so crazy. So tomorrow is legit probably going to be the last day that I'm at the studio, not knowing that Tuesday was going to be the last day that I was going to be at the studio, because Tuesday night or Tuesday like evening, my oldest child, who is 25, went to the emergency room, and we have been in the hospital since last week, Tuesday. The day at the time of this recording, I think this is day 6. This will make a full week. We went in on Tuesday. Today is Monday of the following week. And so it has just been a very long week. So yeah, you think that you know what's going to happen. Like, oh, we'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you next week. But like life is so short, and not just like it's so short that people die. We know it's short in that aspect, but it's so short that things can just change, right?
Mhm.
Like, not that it's the same. It's not the same with Olivia abandoning us or whatever. It's not quite the same because I'm only gone for a week. But it did make me think when I couldn't come on Wednesday, it was like, oh, this is just like with Olivia. We thought that we were going to have the next day. Remember, we were supposed to go and hang out and do lunch and all those things. And then we didn't get that day. It was like
Yeah.
everything changed. She had the dates wrong. She had to move. Her brother was here to get her, like all of those things. And then that was just it. She was just gone. She just left to go.
Wow.
And
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I immediately thought of that on Wednesday when I realized, like, holy crap, how does this keep happening to us? We thought we were going to be there. We're not there. I think that, I don't know what we plan on talking about, but I mean, obviously in light of everything that I'm going through with my child is 25, less so my baby, right? With my kid and everything, we know at a certain age, like, that nobody's promised tomorrow. We've all lost someone that we love. We've all had something happen unexpectedly that we couldn't have planned for, but we still kind of move like things will never change, and like we will always have the same time, energy, resource today, tomorrow, and next week. So like this idea of like procrastinating. So I don't know where this conversation is going to go, but I would really like to talk about the importance of, like, what does that look like? What does it look like for us to live with an understanding that tomorrow is not promised, and not like from a reckless standpoint, but from a stop playing small, stop saying that you're going to do something, stop saying you're going to start something, stop saying you're going to write something, you're going to date something, like just stop with the putting off because you act like you have so much time, and it may not even be anything horrible, right? Like, the situation with Micah, we still really don't know what's going on. And so hopefully we'll get that information today. We still don't even really know what we're looking at.
Yeah.
But even with Olivia, like, we had plans and things that we thought we'd be doing this year. And 6 months ago, we did not know we were going to be here all in separate places. We did not know that we were going to be here. So there are probably things that maybe we would have done differently, or things that we could have done had we had the mindset, like, things can change in the blink of an eye, and not just like horrific. Like what happened with Olivia is obviously not.
First of all, are we supposed to be crying? Or
I
what are we doing?
Exactly. I was
Oh
like,
my God.
No, I don't want you, like, I don't want it to come from a place of like sadness. I just want it to come from a place of like, I don't like that we don't have a sense of urgency when it comes to our call and when it comes to our purpose and what we want to do, or even in our relationships. Like, I know we talked about the flooding last week, but like even in our relationships, like a storm could happen, like or somebody could win the lottery and pack up their things and move, or somebody could just be relocated because it's a better opportunity for their family. And so you meant to have them over for dinner more, and you guys meant to spend more time together, but you never got around to it. And so it's like, what would it look like? What would we not wait for if, we really had an understanding that what you have the opportunity to do today, you may not have the same opportunity to do tomorrow. Even with me coming to the studio, I can't come to the studio because we only have the one car. And it's because of a great thing, right? My husband is using the car for his job, which is great because this is something he's been trying to get into and something he wants to do. And so while that is a blessing, it has completely impacted, my ability to come to the studio in this season. And so I might have come more often.
Yeah, and prayers were going out like for him to get that position. We should have been praying for get that position and then get everything lined up to get this car, right? Like get another vehicle, all that stuff, right? So I need to say something right in this moment before I lose it. Oh, you're getting an important call.
I am. I'm gonna put y'all on mute. Y'all go ahead.
Okay. Rebel, this girl Rebel, we follow her IG account. I literally cannot think of her full name, so sorry if she hears this. She's like, you don't even remember my IG, but she did this live, and it may have been a reel actually, but I caught one thing from it. I love when people do a video and you can see like the subtitles, and it was on Instagram, and it just caught my attention because she was like, what if you already made your $1 million? What if you already hit all the milestones that you wanted to in your business? She was like, what would you do different today if you already did that? How would you show up differently? And that hit me like a ton of freaking bricks because we're so scared to show up as a certain person or say certain things because we're scared we're going to lose followers, or we're scared that we're not going to, land that client or that contract because someone's going to maybe not be into who we actually are. And she kind of was giving her people permission. She was like, stop doing that. Already act as though you have the contract, you have the deal, you got the $1 million. Like you did all the things you wanted to do. How would you show up? And that right there, I was like, I'm going to stop getting in my own way. And I think I texted y'all that last night or the night before or something. And I was like, yeah, how would we act different? What would we do different? And she was like, that's who you have to be, your authentic self. So stop playing around. And that goes back to what you just said, Courage, like stop playing small. Like we're always waiting on, well, when it's the right time or when this happens, I'll do whatever. And it's like, why are you doing that? And we all trick ourselves mentally, and that holds us back. People are actually waiting on us to be who we are. And so, I did a live this morning actually on IG, and it was super early. People were like, why are you even on right now? And I was doing my makeup, and I was like, I don't care if it's like 7:30 in the morning. I'm going to go live and do my makeup right now. I don't even care if there's not a point to the live. I'm going to have a conversation with my community. And Courage, you said that last week. You were like, we actually all have a community. You don't have to have this name or this private, Facebook group or whatever to have a community. Your community are your followers. Like those are your core people. When you think of celebrities, and you can kind of step on that because you were talking about that from a book that you had read. But what do y'all have to say about that? Because that right there, I'm like, I am acting as though I've already met all my business expectations and goals, and that's who I'm going to show up as.
Yeah, no, I agree. First of all, I'm gonna step back. I'm gonna go back to what Courage said, then I'm gonna step on that or whatever, just to round that out in my thoughts. This weekend I actually went to a family gathering, and I thought it was super awesome. It's my husband's side of the family, and they just had a family cookout. It wasn't even, and it was great what you were saying, because as I thought about like just my weekend, like I said, it wasn't, I think a lot of times, just thinking about this past event, even when it comes to just like family, like you said, call somebody if you want to have dinner with them. You never know when it's, it might be their last time, or they might move away or whatever. And I thought, oh, that's probably exactly what this family is doing. It wasn't like they didn't have this whole, I guess sometimes when people think about, oh, I want to have a family reunion, they think about all of these things that you got to do. You got to have these events, you have to have these locations, you have to do all of these extra things, when really and truly this family were in their front of their yard. They have big front yard. They cooked food, made up games, and just hung out with each other. It wasn't a whole lot of hoopla. It wasn't a whole lot of things, that they did. Obviously I wasn't a part of the preparation. I'm sure it took prep and all of those things, but it wasn't something that was so grand. It was just like, oh, we need to get together as a family. Let's have a cookout. Invite people. People flew in, people drove in, people did all the things to be there. And I think that's, just talking about that's the things that we have to do. I think, my side of the family, a lot of times we have had some get togethers, but majority of the time, it's like when someone is passing away, that's when we're like, everybody's flying in for it or coming in for it. Now we have had a couple events that people came to, but it's not something that we do often enough. And I think that's something that we all can think about. Just do it. Like, have a family dinner, have a family cookout, and not just because of something. Like, I don't know, they didn't have any type of like, oh, it's somebody's birthday or something. Nothing. They had none of that. They were just like, we're just gonna get together and do it. I know that Greg's grandmother is she's one of 9, and so I believe there's only maybe 2 left of the 9. So they had a picture of all the 9, and they had a cake with all 9 name on the cake, and that's it. So what I'm saying, they were just like celebrating their family.
Cool.
And that's it. So I wish more families would do that. And it's definitely, I definitely took a page out of that. Like we should do that definitely more often. So that was what my weekend looked like. And then, like you said, showing up, just to touch on that, like, I love that idea. It definitely resonates with us, because it's like, okay, what would you be doing? Who would you be reaching out to if you like it? You can take it so much deeper. Like, who would you be trying to connect with if you had a 7-figure business? Who would you be trying to collaborate with? What would you be trying to do? Like, go ahead and do some of those things now. Like, don't wait till you're there, because then it's like, a lot of times people feel like they have to be so far or have so much, accolades in their business before they reach out, because you never know when someone's going to be like, yeah, I would love to partner with you or collaborate with you or have you do whatever whatever your business or your niche is. So yeah, definitely be thinking about that. Like, what would you do? How would you show up? What type of connections would you be trying to make? Things like
I
that.
also think, like, day to day. I read this book recently. We Should All Be Millionaires. Shout out to Rachel Rogers. Shout out to Rachel Rogers. Get the book, read the book, follow her. Super dope. And how clean is this? You can just edit it, I guess. She has these 2 things.
Say what you need to say.
Okay. She has these 2 things, and she says broke ass decisions and $1 million decisions. And she just starts like rattling things off. Like, she's not from the school of thought of like, well, women, because it's very I feel like it's very much about women and marginalized people, like earning $1 million and setting that as your goal. That's really her demographic. That's really who she's driving at home to, like people who don't typically set their goals at becoming millionaires, that kind of thing or whatever. And she's like, they tell women that if we want to have money, then we should save money. She's like, even if you stop drinking your latte, you're going to save $1,400 a year. what does that do for you? Nothing. She's like, okay, you say $1,400, great. Now what? She's like, no, you need to increase your income and your revenue. But she's like, even outside of that, like just small decisions, like $1 million decisions is buy new underwear and bras. You still wearing raggedy underwear, that is a broke ass decision. Like, why? You need a new toothbrush, get a new toothbrush. You want higher quality shoes and clothing, right? She's not talking so much about designer labels, but like you continue to get these cheaply made, low quality things and low quality experiences for what? Like, if you were a millionaire, like when you feel like a millionaire and your space makes you feel good and the clothes and the body that you're in makes you feel good, then that is when you're much more likely to go from $40,000 a year to $1 million. You're not going to get to $1 million feeling like 50 cents. And now you're going to all of a sudden, she's like, no, you need to start feeling like $1 million now. And I was like, exactly. Why do I have these raggedy underwear? First of all, it's my tank top. It's really my tank tops because I buy underwear a lot. But I have these tank tops. I wear a tank top under almost everything, right? And I had this tank top on the day that I was listening to it. And it had this deodorant stain on the side. First of all, do you know how much I paid for them tank tops? $6. $6. Why am I still wearing these tank tops? The deodorant stain on the side, the hem is pulled, it no longer has it folded down, it's like frayed at the bottom. Like, why? Why are you still wearing it? Girl, you got $6. You can go out and buy 7 or 14, right? Brand new tank tops and just call it a day. Like, you don't still need to be. I was like, you know what? I'll take, give me some new tank tops. I'll take, give me some. I'm throwing out all these socks that's niche match or can't find a match too. Throwing them at, you know what I mean? Like, just that kind of thing. And I thought, like, wow, what would that look like? So when you put that in the group chat, I was like, yeah, I've kind of been on that mindset. Like, I don't fly coach anymore.
Oh gosh, this is a whole thing, y'all. Okay, first of all, if you're listening to this and y'all have anywhere to comment right now, stop. And I want you to tell us in real life, have you ever flown first class? I don't care who you flew with, like family, business, for fun. Have you ever? Because I've never, ever have I.
Surprises me.
Yeah.
It really, because you seem like you really have a first class personality.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'm getting to the same destination y'all are.
I know. I just don't know why.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I like to board quick. You are much more likely to be chosen for the TSA pre-check. So I'm not taking my shoes off. It typically already includes 2 check-on bags and a thing. So like a lot of times when I pack, I'm trying to, I pack a lot of stuff anyway, but I'm trying to keep it into this one thing. I don't have to do that. And I don't have to walk around the airport with all my things. It's not that it's like 100 times better. It is just
can you be in this? Yeah, be in this space for a minute, Courage, because you just I feel like you are glazing it. You explained it the other day to me, and I literally visualize every step of the airport because airports are very stressful, stressful. And so when it asks you, I'll even want you to know sometimes it might double your ticket price. But when Courage explains it the way you're about to, please paint the picture. Literally, you go, oh, that's why. It's not that I'm getting to the same place that person's getting to. It's the experience that you're getting.
From start to finish, right? So when you travel on a cheaper ticket or with an airline that really specializes in those economy things, so you buy the ticket and you feel really good you bought the ticket, right? Like, boom, I'm going somewhere. But then when you get to the airport, now they are nickel and diming you for everything. You got to pay because of the weight. You got to pay for the extra bag. You got to pay to change your seat. Now you're standing in this line, and now it's like I'm standing in this line. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know if I'm going to make it to my gate on time. I got to take my shoes off, my belt off. I'm in the line with all these people. You don't feel calm until you get to your gate, and that's just the truth. Like, if you're like, the whole thing is getting to the airport, getting to the gate. That's what you want to do. You want to get to the airport. You don't feel like you at the airport till you at the gate. Why? Because you can still miss your flight in the airport. You can be in the airport, in the security line, and miss your flight. And I've never missed a flight, so I don't even know why I have this feeling. But it's just like,
I was going to say, maybe I don't have this anxiety because I have never missed a flight, but I actually have missed a flight before, but it was fun.
Yeah, I've never missed a flight. And so you get in there, when you go to the airport and there's a very different experience. Yes, you can just carry your carry-on, right? And you can stuff a bunch of stuff in your carry-on. But I want you to imagine getting out of the car, dropping off your bags to the checkout because you don't have to worry about paying for it. It's already included in it, whether it's a huge suitcase and a duffel bag, which you could technically carry on. Just because it's a carry-on doesn't mean you are required to carry it on, right?
Yeah,
you can still check those bags. So you get 2 bags included. So now I've checked my big suitcase and this duffel bag that I have. And the only thing I'm walking around the airport with is my crossbody. That's a different type of freedom. I can go to the bathroom. How many of you got in the bathroom and you're trying to get your suitcase in the bathroom? You got the suitcase, trying to put the bag on. You got all these things. I don't have to worry about putting things overhead. I'm not waiting on nobody to move out of my way when it's time to get out. It's just smoother, right? And I'm not trying to convince people to fly first class. I don't care if you fly first class. That's your business. But what I'm saying is, I started to think, like, oh, when I become a millionaire, like there was a time where I was traveling and it was frustrating. I remember when we went to Paris. Paris was an amazing trip, but I was frustrated because I didn't have to pay for my check-on going. I had a carry-on and I didn't have to pay for it going to Paris. But by the time I got to the Paris airport trying to get back to the States, I had to pay. Again, it's just like this nickel and dime, like, oh, I thought I was going to carry. No, you can't carry it on. You got to pull out your credit. Like, you got to pay for this right now. I'm like, what if I didn't have the money to pay for it right now? Like, I just didn't like that experience. And so I started to think to myself, when I get rich, I'm flying first class because I just don't want to deal with these small things. But then when I looked at first class pricing, they're not, I mean, maybe it's the places I've been going, but they have been affordable. I flew coach to California like 100 years ago, and I paid close to $800. So anything under $800, I feel like I'm like, that's it, bruh. First class me all day, right? It's just a different peace of mind. I don't drink, so I don't care about the drinks on first class or whatever. But the seats do have more room. They are more cushioned. They do cater to you a little bit more. Like there's that. The food that they bring you, like there's a selection of things, even if it's not just pretzels, right? Like there's a selection of things. And I just like that treatment. I mean, if you don't like that treatment, that's cool. If it's not a thing for you, it's not a thing for you. But as for me, we fly first class. Like that's just what it is.
It's funny that
I'm gonna wait till I'm rich to do it when it's just like a couple of $100 extra. I don't travel that often where I'm spending thousands of dollars a week. I'm traveling like I'm flying maybe once a quarter. Okay, I will allot for that because I prefer to fly first class.
Yeah, I think middle class people, this is what happens in your mindset. Because as you're explaining this, I'm like, why have I never even considered it? You know why? Because it's a game. It's a game at how cheap you can get your ticket. When you talk to a friend and y'all are all flying together and they're like, oh yeah, I got my ticket like last week. You're like, how much was it? They're like $230. And you're like, oh, I got mine for like, $180. And they're like, what? How did you get your ticket so low? And you're like, I don't know. I guess because I booked it on a Tuesday morning. That's what they say is the cheapest time to book. Yeah. It's like a game, right? Yeah. And maybe it's not middle class. I just feel like that's how I grew up. Like I didn't grow up wealthy. I didn't, none of that stuff. It's like, well, you can get it, you get it, but it's like this competition.
Oh no,
who can get the better deal?
My friends are going to Jamaica right now. And they are so intense with it. First of all, they're going to Jamaica in like 2 weeks or whatever. They just bought their flight like last week. First of all, the anxiety, that's when I have anxiety. I'm like, why are y'all waiting? Like they ain't even truly booked their room yet. And they're leaving in 2 weeks. And so, but they are so intense about getting a cheap ticket. This is what they did. They bought one-way tickets. They bought a one-way ticket. And so one way, they're going from Orlando to Jamaica. On the way back, they're going from Jamaica to Atlanta. Y'all are serious about, so yes. These people, I think it is a game. Like, how cheap can we get this ticket?
Remember when we went to Vegas? Like, that is an experience I don't want to have. And it wasn't a horrible experience, but we live in Charlotte. And so we drove from Charlotte to Atlanta because it's cheaper to fly out of Atlanta. And so we drove from Charlotte to Atlanta, which is 4 hours and some change. and then flew from Atlanta to Vegas, and then from Vegas back to Atlanta, and then we had to drive. I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to travel like this. If I gotta drive 4 hours, like I just want to know that I'm going somewhere, and I want to be mindful of it. I want to increase my income so that I can afford it. I want to pay attention to stuff. I just don't want to travel like that. I don't want to travel where I have to. I'm not interested, because that cheap flight, like all of that, it's way more trouble to get to the place. And so the experience starts from the minute that you leave. And I'm the type of person, it already takes a lot for me to go somewhere. So let me have a bad experience. I'll be like, this ain't going nowhere right now. I ain't going to nothing else for the next 3 years. So don't ask me. I ain't coming, right? Like, I will just shut it down. And so I don't need it. I'm not interested.
No, they are travelers. They do anything to save a coin, but they go everywhere. Child, they'll go 10 hours just to go to China. They do all types of stuff. They like travelers. And they love it. I think it's a game for them to like, how cheap can they get their tickets? They don't care. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
And it's a conversation that you have over time. You're like, oh yeah, we went blah, blah, blah. And then it is, I don't know if it's joy to share how much stuff costs or how low stuff costs, but I think even like experiences at local retail places like Target, for one, I love going to Target, and I'm like, yeah, but I mean, this is what I got. I got a candle for like blah, blah. Like, you always share how much. I'm like, rich people don't share how much they spend on stuff. FYI. Okay.
Yeah.
But regular smegulas over here like, oh yeah, guess what I got today? You know what I mean? And I think it's, I don't know why it is a thing.
It's
I don't
a different
think
mindset. Sure.
and I don't think it's like to the public. I think it's like just across like your friend community.
Friend group or whatever.
Yeah.
I think so too. And I want to be clear. Like, I don't want people to think that we're saying like, go out and spend all your money and do this and act like you have $1 billion and get into debt. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that there is a certain type of energy that you have when you are standing from it, like when you're coming from a place of success. So if you're a business or whatever it is you're doing, you're not making 6, 7, 8 figures. You still have this mindset of like, I'm trying. No, stop trying and just switch from trying to becoming, right? And so that means that I have to make the decisions of a wealthy person, or I have to use the parameters. So if a wealthy person didn't have it in their budget, they don't spend the money that's not in their budget. They don't spend it. What they do is they increase the income coming in, they reallocate some funds, and then they make it happen, or they make plans for the next year, because they operate from a place of, I may not have money right now, but money is always flowing to me. I think, poor feels like there's never enough. And I feel like middle class feels like, if I don't do well with what I have, if I don't make the best of every dollar, then that will somehow put out this message or this energy that I'm not worthy of this money. And then I can go back to being poor, or I'm wasting my money. But if they felt like, well, money is going to come and flow to them freely, there's no need for me to add that travel time, because it takes away from what I actually want to do, which is spend time in Hawaii, or spend time in Paris, or spend time in Jamaica, right? Whatever that thing is. There's no reason for me to continue to wear these tank tops for 100 years, because I have had these tank tops for 100 years. Okay? It's no reason for me to keep them, because it's like I have to justify buying new things. It has to be, raggedy and exposed. It's not enough for me to know, like, if somebody saw it, if my suitcase came open, I would be embarrassed at the state of my tank tops. Honestly.
Oh gosh, that's what you should think about.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if strangers saw these tank tops, I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's just the same. I've had these tank tops for forever. They're not actually good. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is what I would think that. Why am I wearing something that I would be embarrassed if exposed? You know what I'm saying? Like, just like that kind of thing. I think that's a difference.
That reminds me of my grandma used to have this mindset when I was a child. That reminds me of that. She used to have this mindset, and she was a child, of like, you always need to wear like good underwear, good bras, whatever, because what if you ever get into an accident and they have to take your clothes off? Do you want them to like see whatever? So she always used to use that, like, so it's like, never go out the house without like good underwear.
That must be a grandma thing. Mine too.
Oh my gosh. But then it actually, to this day, sometimes it will stop me. I'm like, no, let me change. It still will stop me in my track. And it's like,
and so then the question is, why do you have on something that you have to stop and change? You have enough money to not have any underwear or bras that you would be embarrassed to be caught dead in, right? Like, so what are you keeping them for?
Yeah.
I think the same thing about my pajamas.
Well, see, you don't know what you keep them for.
No, I just, I've been in this hospital.
Deliver.
Let's talk about this. And they have not given us they did not give us a, sponsorship. But since I've been in the hospital with Micah, they have cable, so I've never seen so many commercials in all my life. It's been years since I've seen so many commercials. But you know what commercial they got in heavy rotation?
What?
Knix. These underwear that are pad.
Knix? It's a Knix?
Is it Knix?
I thought it was Thinks.
I think it's
I don't
Knix.
know, whatever.
But whatever it is, this underwear that are period, and like if you it takes like 8 ounces or something, like it takes like 8 tampons worth, and also the same thing, like I guess if you have like leaky bladder, like bladder issues, if you leak a little bit, like it will keep you dry. And so, I know that your intention is not to not wear that, but I feel like that's what those underwear are made for. So maybe I'm certainly not suggesting that you go. I just think that's.
No. The funny thing
you should get you some.
The funny thing is, I never thought about it. I never thought about it before. I kind of thought about it, but then never really thought about it. But I actually just heard somebody talking about them, and I never thought to wear them at that time of the month. Not to say like that's all I'm wearing, but in case you have, overage that it can catch. Like, I never thought about it in that way until just like a month or two ago, because sometimes I do have like ridiculous times, and so I'm like, oh, I never thought about that, because then it would not, ruin the underwear.
And they show the underwear, the seat of the underwear are black, which makes complete sense, right? So when you wash, so there's not going to be, you're not going to see the staining, right? In my imagination, the fabric is probably one that doesn't hold on to stains, because it's meant for you to wear them and for you to wear them without any protection. It's meant for you to wear without a tampon or pad or anything like that. And so I'm like, okay, I saw that and I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. They're black, so it's not going to be, so that's what you can do. Go ahead, get you some. Because there's really no reason for us to be wearing things that we feel like.
What is the name of this brand?
I think it's Knix, I thought. I'm going to look it up right now.
It's going to be all over my feed. I can tell y'all that after this conversation.
It definitely is.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I think that
KNIX, that's the commercial of it. Maybe there's another brand, but KNIX is what I've been seeing. Yeah, this them right here, boy, they commercials is.
Yeah, I think there's a couple different brands out there now, but yeah, that's I think I might if you're listening to this, you can sponsor us.
Exactly.
You can send us some freebie and Amber, because Courage has been delivered.
Yeah, praise the Lord.
Oh gosh, it's so obnoxious though, because the last 2 cycles it's been regular, but then and then I get confident with it. I'm like, I'm good, but then like next cycle you like floodgates. Okay,
yeah, that's how it is.
Really bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Yeah.
Listen, they have a heavy flow period kit. They are all black underwear. And they have like black reusable pads for like overnight. So if you need to even add to what you have on, they're all black. 1, 2, 3, 4 comes with 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of what looks like just regular bikini underwear, and then a pair of like boy shorts. A kit. Yeah, they have some that are colorful, but I could see if you wanted to steer clear of the ones that are like colorful. And they have them by absorbency, light absorbency, medium, super. That kit right there is super leak proof, super absorbent.
Wow.
Yeah, the Lord has delivered me from that. Praise God. I don't have to deal with that. But just like these things, right? Like, that's not too expensive. You can afford to buy that stuff. So it's like, why are we still doing these things if we know that, you know what I'm saying? And the truth is, like, you don't even feel good in them, right? Like, they don't increase how you feel. And so I love the idea of thinking about what it looks like to stand in my 7-figure, 8-figure earning self, and like, who would I reach out to? how would I walk into a room? Different. I'll tell you that it would be different.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's I've been watching Bethany Frankel, I think is her last name, Frankel. She used to be one of the housewives, but she's the one that made Skinny Margaritas, Skinny Girl,
Oh, yeah.
that girl. She has a mouth on her, so if you're ever following her, you never know what she's gonna say. But she's been doing a lot of like beauty stuff, so she'll like grab makeup or whatever, and she like does like her reaction for beauty, and oh gosh, it makes me nervous. I'm like, one day when we have a product line and then she reviews it, yeeks, are we gonna pass the test? But she is so unapologetic. She really doesn't care what the brand thinks of her, how she says it, and about her followers. But people follow her because they know how real she is. And like little things like that get me excited for people because I'm like, you know why she's that way? It's because she ain't got to impress nobody because she made it. Do you know what I mean? And she's been the broke girl. She's talked about that the beginning of her career. She was, I think when Housewives kind of started in New York, she was like living with a friend, barely making it. And then obviously the Skinny Girl is kind of what made her who she is in her income or whatever. And obviously I'm sure she's done other things, but that's what I know her for. And I'm like, you know, it's very funny that I don't know how she used to really be, but now how she's being with like what she's done business wise, I'm just really proud of women that can stand for not apologizing or trying to bend to impress somebody. And I just wish that I could be more like that sometimes. I'm just like, you know what? I need to be a little extra myself some days. But then some days I feel like I just like sugarcoat stuff too much to my audience. And I'm like, nah, I just got to stop it and just show up as Amber all the time. But then sometimes I'm like, do I want really people to see? I really am, you know.
So says Alan, no.
Yeah. Another thing that came up, I'm dropping a lot of names today, but who cares? I was watching a clip and it was Kelly Clarkson, you know, she has a reality show and she was interviewing, is it Mila Kunis?
Mm-hmm.
How do you say her last name?
It's like Kunis or something like that. Kunis,
yeah.
Something.
Well, she doesn't have. So basically they were talking about social media and she was like, I don't have social media because anything you put on the internet stays on the internet, right? They can always bring it back up later. But she was like, when I grew up, that didn't exist. I could say whatever I wanted to. Nobody has proof that I ever said it, you know, but nowadays, you know, there is proof. They can pull it up 10 years ago. You said XYZ, right? And hold that against you. But I just think some people live in like this place of fear too, where I'm like, well, you know, I don't know. It's like this hard thing that you kind of have to balance, I think. But I just think when you know yourself, you're not fearful of showing up. Do you know what I mean? And
well, not only that, not when you know yourself, because I think people, this is the problem. I think when people are afraid of it, not saying her specifically, but when people are real life jerks, and they, you know, just are rude and nasty people, you should be, that's when you're going to be afraid of like, oh, what am I going to say? Like when you know that you're really like authentic, kind-hearted people. Yes, I think you have an easier time saying, okay, if I do something, if I say something, if I make a mistake, obviously I'm not a cruel person, but I guess some people are, not saying her, but I know that some people are mean and nasty and then they can put things out there on the internet. It's like, oh, whatever, you know? So I think that is the difference between like, okay, are you actually a nice person? Are you actually a good person at heart? That way, if you do say something crazy or out of the ordinary, people can be like, well, you know, 90% of the time she's cool. Okay, she made everybody's human. You're gonna make a mistake. You're gonna say something that's not, you know, politically correct or something like that. Right. But if you show up in a way that is authentic and kind in this world, I think it's not a big deal. But if you struggle with having times where you're nasty or angry, then you probably want to stay away from that.
I don't know about that because I have some very strong opinions about things, and I know that when I post them, even though I'm a kind person, I know that there's a school of thought that goes directly against what I believe. I mean, we could talk about 100 things, right? Pro-choice, pro-life.
Well, I'm not talking about beliefs. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about.
But I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, but that's my authentic self. So what I put on Facebook is an extension of what I think and where I stand, how I respond to things, and what I support, right? No matter what that is, meat eating or not eating meat, big girl or get healthy. It doesn't matter, because good-hearted person or not, when I put out like this is where I stand, there are actually people, a whole group of people who are angry about a body confidence movement. And in my mind, I don't understand how you're upset about that. But if I come out and I say I love my body, or I'm coming out and I'm confident in who I am and what I'm wearing, even though I'm a kind person, there's a very large chance, especially on social media, that there's going to not just be one person, but a community of people who want to bash me because of where I stand and just my authentic self. Like black girls with what is it, like natural hair, and okay, I don't have a natural hair. I have relaxer, or I wear weave or I don't wear weave, or I'm woke and I got black friends, or oh, I got a white friend, or I'm white and I got this black friend, or I'm like, when we stand up and we're just like our authentic self, there are like, even just doing that, I think there is a real potential, a very high risk, that as your platform grows, that you are going to be met with a ton of backlash, because people feel like they need to comment on everything, even if it's things they don't like. Like, you're going to have people following you just because they don't like what you're saying.
Yeah,
even in the beauty industry, right? So even in the beauty industry, there are people in the beauty industry that don't like that you are doing this, or don't like, that is like a thing. And so I think that it is about knowing who you are, but I think it's also about being okay with what that means, right?
Yeah.
When I show up as myself, that means everybody's not going to like me. And I think that is the hardest thing to take.
No, and I'm not talking about showing up as yourself. I'm talking about people are mean on the internet. That's what I'm talking about.
I think that people are mean on the internet, but I don't think mean people know they mean. I don't think that mean people know they mean. I think they think they just telling the truth, child.
No,
I'm
not talking about standing up for your rights. I'm talking about talking about people negatively. That's what I mean. And that's how people get caught up on the internet. Like, talking about people negatively, that's what I'm more so mad. Yeah. Not like, oh, I believe in this or that.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody's not going to like your opinion.
Right. Everybody's not, and I think that you have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Even if my opinion is about your clothing line or whatever. Like, I think people sometimes think, maybe it's me, maybe it's my experience, I think that sometimes people think the truth is mean, and I'm not being mean. I'm just giving, like, this is what I think, and this is my plan. Like, this is what I think, and this is, I said what I said. But people can be like, oh my gosh, that's so mean, that's so close-minded. I think, there's a real risk for everybody to feel, for us, I think there are a million reasons for all of us to play it safe on social media and not show up as our authentic self. The problem with that is that it does not allow you to serve the people that you've been called to serve, because there's a community who believes in what you believe in, and they're looking for a voice that resonates with their own. They're looking for somebody who stands on the same side as the fence as they do, and how your life should be lived, or what they value, or whatever, because we were created for community. So even if you want to find your own jerk community, you're not going to find your own jerk community. I mean, that's really true. Now, if you were a jerk, you're just a freaking douchebag. You're not going to find your douchebag brothers and sisters if you don't show up as your true self. You know what I'm saying? Because those types of people are going to be drawn to the type of content that you create. And I think that for those of us who are not that way, it's important for us to show up as our authentic self and just like brace ourselves for the rejection, because it's coming, and for us to focus on those that are like have been waiting for us, those who have been assigned to hear our voice and our message. Because like we started this podcast off saying, like, life is short, and I don't have time to be worried about people who ain't for me know it. Like, I'm not even talking to you, girl. I don't care that you're not following me. I'm literally not. You're obviously not my audience, because if you were, you would love everything about me. But since you're not, keep it moving, keep scrolling. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep it moving. But if I don't show up, then if I'm waiting for all of these things to happen, thinking that I'm going to have it all together one day, and then I'm somehow going to be free from that backlash, it just is not going to happen. Life is short. You don't know when things are going to change. So just start showing up as your $7-8 million 7, 8-figure selves and do
Yeah.
your thing, little mama, make it work. I don't know where that came from. It's just a little jukebox spirit I got. I'm sorry,
Little jukebox. Yeah, this was really good. I know this was a conversation that many women probably needed to hear, us included.
Yeah.
I feel like it got a little heated for 2 seconds. So it's good. This is good.
You know that some people think that when something is loud, it's heated.
Oh
But
yeah.
that's a cultural difference. It's the
Yeah,
cultural
that's
difference.
like a cultural
Like,
difference. I'm like, where did it get heated
Get
at?
heated, yeah.
It did. I don't think it got heated. I think others are going to think it got heated. Like, oh, y'all are coming at each other. I was just going to say, this is actually our everyday conversations.
Facts.
Yeah, I didn't think that at all.
Yeah, you did.
We were talking about two different things. I wasn't saying she was wrong and she wasn't saying I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
I was just making sure she knew where my point
and
was.
I don't know if you guys noticed, but my internet was unstable for a while, so I was like getting bits and pieces what you were saying for like the last 2 minutes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't seem frozen. It seemed good.
Yeah.
I'm at the hospital. Well, y'all was definitely freezing.
Well,
and if you guys are watching this podcast, like, I think this is the first episode I was actually here for the whole thing.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
True. Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah.
Usually I have to take an intermission.
Yeah. Nobody even knows it except if you're watching it on YouTube.
If you're watching.
They're like, oh, yeah, they're like, where'd Olivia go? She just pops away and we're like, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
Yeah.
This was really good, you guys. Make sure you search hashtag My CEO Squad. You will see so much about conversations and posts and video content that all three of us do together or even individually. So make sure you're subscribing to this YouTube channel, which is My CEO Squad. Make sure you're also giving this a 5-star rating and give it a review. Definitely make sure you write a review. I think it's really impactful. That's our way of knowing how this was resonating with you and what your takeaway of it was. If you ever have a request of a conversation, we would love to give you a shout out and read some of those. I think we'll probably have that scheduled and maybe post something and say it's upcoming. So make sure you drop them here. So make sure you're staying connected to us. We look forward to having you on our next episode with us and give you some updates about Micah, your baby. Okay. What's happening there, and keep us in the loop there. All right. Anything else y'all want to shout out and say?
No, this was good. I'm glad that we really did this. I think this speaks really to our consistency that we are doing this, recording it on this day. We said this was going to be the day that we're recording it. I'm in the family room at the hospital and we are recording it, right? Like we just were like, oh yeah, okay, let's get it
in. Yeah. Got a computer, got headphones. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you later on the next upload. Share this with a friend that you know this will help and bless, and we look forward to checking you next time.
Bye.
You said.